A large holding that the museum is well known for is the collection of Wyeth family works, including art by Andrew Wyeth, his son Jamie, and his father N.C. Wyeth. Starting back in the 1930s, N.C. Wyeth brought his family to Port Clyde, Maine to spend summers, and of course N.C. was the very well-known illustrator. But when he spent summers in Maine, he could paint for his own enjoyment, and he did a number of beautiful landscapes and seascapes here along the Maine coast, a number of which are now in the Farnsworth collection. But then probably the Wyeth that people are most associate with the Farnsworth is his son Andrew, who has been connected with the Farnsworth collection for more than 50 years. Back in the 1940s, when Robert Bellows was buying works from the museum, he bought several watercolors by a very young, at that time unknown artist named Andrew Wyeth, who had just had his first exhibition at Macbeth Galleries in New York, and Robert Bellows picked up 3 watercolors from that show, and they became part of the museum's permanent collection. And so ever since then, the museum has been collecting works by Andrew Wyeth and exhibiting his pieces here. And of course now we have the 3rd generation of Wyeth, Jamie Wyeth, as part of the museum collection as well. In 1994, the museum opened the Wyeth Center, which is a renovated church, a historic church building here in Rockland that's just now part of the museum campus, and that showcases works by N.C. and Jamie Wyeth, and Andrew's work is now in the Wyeth Study Center, which is a wing of the museum building. Then in 2000, the museum opened the Morehouse wing, which is devoted to contemporary shows by living Maine artists, and that's sort of the 3rd leg of the museum's mission. We have Maine in America, the museum's historic permanent collection, which we show works from the museum's holdings on a rotating basis. And then in the Morehouse wing, we have Maine in America Now, which focuses on living Maine artists with a connection to Maine. And we show there many well-known and sometimes lesser-known artists, people like Alex Katz, Neil Welliver, Kenneth Nolan, Lois Dodd, Yvonne Jacquet, many American living well-known artists who work here in Maine, as well as younger, lesser-known artists who have a connection to the state. Other than the Wyeth, probably the 2nd largest holding within the museum collection is works by the artist Louise Nevelson, a sculptor who most people sort of associate with New York City because that's where she did most of her mature work, but she was actually raised here in Rockland. She emigrated from Russia with her family at the age of 8 and grew up here in Rockland until adulthood, until she married and moved to New York City. And in honor of her hometown, she actually gave more than 50 pieces of her art to the Farnsworth collection, which makes our holdings second only to the Whitney Museum in New York City in terms of the breadth and depth of our Nevelson holdings. Those pieces are right now traveling in a national exhibition, Louise Nevelson works from the Farnsworth collection, and they'll be back here at the museum in the spring of 2005.